Hello, Sean here from the Siege Captain, and welcome to episode 4 of building a simple torsion catapult. This might be the last episode of this season of the catapult, this series. We're going to be continuing it, but I'll explain at the end of the video why we need to put a pause. There's my neighbor's cat. He has like extra toes, but we don't show that off. Anyway, see me here wrapping ropes. These ropes will be for when the arm is swung upward and hits against the frame. It has a little bit of cushion so that the arm doesn't shatter, hopefully. That's the goal, anyway. It's a brave little cat just walking in and out of our garage without a care in the world. Pretty cute, too. See in the background by the color of the trees what season it is, and all the leaves on the ground. It was starting to get pretty cold outside, despite just my sweatshirt. It was actually quite cold. I enjoy the cold, so it wasn't too bad, but here in Minnesota it gets cold quick. So you can see when the arm swings up, that's where it'll make contact. Once the arm is slung into the catapult, we will wrap the arm as well, so it's rope on rope contact. The arm will still stop quickly to fling the projectile. Rope on rope will give it its cushion to help it not snap. You might also run like a spine down the arm, so it has extra strength to stop it from snapping. I wanted to cut the arm a little shorter, it just seemed a little too long. That seems like a much better height. We have a Siege Captain classic situation here. I had this idea for a trigger, well, I'm contemplating an idea for the trigger right now. And my idea was to just get 2 wooden posts and run a rod through the middle of them. Just attach that rod to a string, pull the rod out, and this drawdown string that's attached to it will be released, releasing the arm. So here I am cutting out the post I was going to attach to the arm for the trigger. Now just making 2 simple wooden posts. I was going to drill a hole and run a metal rod through it. There's post number 1. Trace it just to make a second one. I don't know if those wooden posts would have been strong enough, just like a lot of things on this catapult. But if it wasn't, it would have been a lesson learned. We've had lots of those. Measure the size of the rod, get a little bit bigger of a drill bit so it can slide in and out easy. So here's the classic situation. You can see me drilling the holes, my dad walks by, asks what we're doing, I begin explaining the trigger I was going to design, and he goes, "Hey, I have an idea for a trigger. I found this pre-made fabricated garage door piece that will work perfectly for a trigger." And I'm like, what do you mean? Walks over to his tool bench, grabs this thing. I don't know what it's for. He said for a garage door. I don't know what it does, but honestly, if it's strong enough, it is perfect. So I grab some panhead screws for strength when attaching it to the wood, give it lots of surface area. Look at that thing. It has a hole for it where we can stick the metal metal rod trigger through it. Already made. This is why I should just walk around Menards or Home Depot. I'd probably find everything I need. I wouldn't have to build anything. Here's the rod we're going to use. The giant glob of copper on the end of it. So here I am designing the pin for the trigger. So I can attach a rope to it. It's a pretty simple design. I was going to use that torch in the back there to heat it up and make it easier to bend. See, I'm doing it here. I held it on there for about 10 minutes. The metal did not glow. Got hot, but not that hot. So instead of using my brain, I just decided to use the old-fashioned way. Just hit it with a hammer until it does what you want. And voila, a weird trigger pin. So that's kind of the idea. It'll slide in there and you can just yank her out. The rope that pulls it down will go on the pin that you pull out. And you can see this is like the underbelly, and it should just slide out. It seems to be working pretty well. Here's the wheels that we made. We're going to use to crank the ropes up. We're going to epoxy those rods in just so that we don't have to hold them by hand when we're wrapping the torsion ropes. So just some 2-part epoxy. And glue those in. It doesn't need to be strong. It just needs to hold it in place. Let those dry. Give them some time. So just gluing those, realized there was a crack in it, and I can just break it by hand. Does not look good for how well these wooden wheels are going to work, but we've been here before, so I'll just use some wood glue all over the place, spread it around, put the pin in, and hope that that makes it strong enough to hold. You can see how it's already getting dark. It was like 6 p.m. at that point, and this is before daylight savings. So you take another hour, and yeah, it gets dark way too early in Minnesota during the winter. The next time we were building, it is pretty exciting. We actually get to do the torsion. So we get to see the catapult actually wound up. Not to its full strength, but we get to see torsion in action. Let me tell you, winding these ropes is annoying because you have to pull like the whole bundle through. So we ended up cutting the rope into 3 segments to make it easier to wrap around. This took us painstakingly long to do. Good thing we can just speed it up here. Does anyone have any resources or tips on how I can read about torsion and like what kind of ropes to do and how to increase force other than just more wraps, more twisting? I read the Wikipedia article and watched about like 3 YouTube videos. That was about it. Couldn't really find anything other than more wraps and more force on the twisting. I was thinking if I had like the ropes that were behind the board up higher and the ones that are in front down lower. I hope that makes sense. I can kind of explain it better once the board's actually in place. But maybe doing that would increase the force. But here it is with the ropes in the catapult. We feed the arm in, just halfway between the ropes. So I begin twisting it by hand until I can't twist it by hand anymore. It was so exciting doing this. I had so much hope for it. Use the pry bar in the spokes of the wheel. Use it to twist the wheel. Still not even enough force to bring the arm up. And wouldn't you know it, the wheel cracks right there. Disappointing. Should have expected it. Wood is a bastard material. Garbage. So the ideas that we have are explained in a later video on how we're going to change this, but if we made them out of metal, like sand molding, maybe that could work. Even with the spokes in it, just sand molded out of aluminum, or, I don't know, steel, whatever. So I didn't want to give up here. The wheels might have broken, but I still wanted to get torsion on it. I just had to figure out a way of twisting it because we couldn't use the spokes on the outside to twist it anymore because the wheels would just shatter. So here I am, trying every tool in the garage. I probably spent like a good half an hour. I was like, I need like a fork thing that's bent at an angle. I was getting pretty desperate with this one. This is just embarrassing. If I had like a two-headed axe, where the axe head was like a sandwich. Like I explained, if there's another axe head like that would fit on either side. I was stumped. I was feeling defeated. I was about to give up, and then I found this thing. I think it's to get out ball joints, but it fits in there actually perfectly. It was like it was made for it. So I initially tap it in place, and you just put the pry bar in that, and voila. You can make torsion. The arm wants to stand. There's the arm standing up on its own. All the neighbors that walked by were very confused in what we were doing. Look at that power. Wow. It's obviously not fully twisted yet. It was just kind of a proof of concept there. So give her some more twists. The ropes are getting really tight. Everything's creaking and cracking. The ropes are making that rope tension noise. So yeah, if you look here, how the ropes that go around the board are the same on both sides. I was wondering if the ones behind it, like they're the same height on the board. If the ones behind it were higher up and the ones in front of it were lower, would that give it more torsion? Is there a resource I can read about torsion? I don't know. I feel I'm on my own on this one. Just doing experiments on this ancient technology, and nobody has written a novel about it. A scientific paper is all I need. So here's the winch to pull the arm down. I was surprised at how well this thing actually worked. Tie the best knot in the world, a bowline. It's so easy to untie even after it has a ton of force put on it. So put the rope up to the trigger, put the pin through the rope and the trigger, and we winch her down. Look at this thing. It's the best working thing on the catapult. Actually, it worked really well. So another problem we ran into is the arm would swing left and right. So if it stayed in the center, the trigger would have actually worked. But you're going to see here in a second when we try pulling it out, it doesn't go as planned. Or does it? This thing actually worked perfectly, this trigger system. Look at this drawdown, holding the weight of the arm. It's not at full force, but it seems strong. You ready for the test fire? This is exciting. And it failed. The arm just moved. The trigger did not come out. So here I am talking, like, if it sat down all the way here and would sit in the middle like that, it wouldn't be pulled left and right as much, so that the trigger would actually be able to slide out. So now we're just kind of taking notes on how things look. We had an idea if we just put a pin across these boards, if this went down a little further or the boards went up a little higher, just put a pin across it. We could just use that as the trigger. So you just pull it down, put the pin through those wooden boards, and when you pull that out, it'll fly upwards. And that's where we leave it off. This thing is big. It's a little too big for the garage, and since it gets dark so quickly and it's getting cold, we're going to put this on hold. We have a video explaining the reasons why, and we'll have another project soon. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.